one of the YouTube videos, I got ma'am's advertisement. So I said, okay, I was thinking about doing business analysis anyway, and I said this might be a good opportunity, and that's how I got in touch with ma'am. And then after that, I got into being a diamond member and did the capstone projects with her. One of the
videos I
YouTube
got
ma'am's
videos I got
advertisement.
ma'am's
So I said,
advertisement.
okay, I was thinking about doing business analysis anyway, and I said this might be a good opportunity, and that's how I got in touch with ma'am. And then after that, I got into being a diamond member and did the capstone projects with her. One of
I think it was repeating in that
Yeah.
recording. No problem. Yes, let's go ahead. Tell me, Anirudh, what were your biggest fears or self-doubts when you thought of transition?
So first fear was the industry that I'm shifting into, the domain knowledge. I may not have that. So that was my biggest fear because obviously I worked in engineering side of things. Most of the BA roles are in banking domain. And that's an area that I've never worked in. In fact, first few interviews of mine were going in that direction where I was being judged of not having domain knowledge. So that was a big roadblock for me at that point of time. And I lacked generally the confidence, although ma'am mentioned that you have transferable skills that you can bring to the table. It was really a matter of how do I put forth confidently during interviews, because they're always trying to assess your confidence first. Because as a functional BA, if you're able to present yourself confidently, then you can navigate past the initial challenges. So that was my biggest fear to begin with. How do I convince the interviewer that I am good enough for this job, even if I don't have domain knowledge?
Okay. Okay. And how did the capstone projects in the diamond certification help you build that confidence?
Well, it got me exposed to all the critical terminologies like BRDs, FRDs, and all the stakeholder collaboration that we did during that time, UAT testing. So it got me familiarized with those terminologies, which I was able to confidently present during interviews. So even in my interview where I landed the job, that immensely helped me because I was asked questions about FRD in my capstone project, what we did, and asked about the elements that will be involved in an FRD, and I was able to articulate that very well. And also about the UAT, also I was able to answer because I was able to do the capstone project. So that immensely helped me, I feel.
Okay. And were you able to showcase this as valid project experience in your resume?
Yes, ma'am. I was able to confidently present that. I also spoke about the stakeholder collaboration because we had a session where we had a banking stakeholder, and we gathered requirements from them. So I was able to present all that confidently and list it out as a project experience and key points of what improvements that we made.
Okay. And tell me, Anirudh, during your requirement gathering session with the bank subject matter expert, what are the key things that you learned in that interaction?
First thing is coming prepared with a list of questions because you're meeting with a senior stakeholder whose time is valuable. So that was first thing, and obviously the professionalism that goes with it, and collaborating with your team to understand everybody have and they're all on the same page, because we were multiple BAs who were trying to gather various requirements. Each of us had our own respective modules we were trying to sort of get the requirements from. And then after that, once the requirement was gathered, there was a follow up with the stakeholder. The stakeholder had some feedback that they had wanted it implemented in the project, like a single sign-on feature and some implementation of some AI tools. So this sort of helped me to effectively work with what the stakeholder is expecting, understand their requirements in detail, and be willing to take that feedback and make sure we are implementing that. So those were very valuable experiences, and it gave me a feel of working in a real project, in an actual work setting.
Okay, okay, great. Now let's move on to your job search, because many of you here, many of the people here, also in our YouTube, would like to know how to go about the job search and where exactly they might be failing.
Sure.
So tell me which specific job websites you used and which one you found the most effective one.
I would say LinkedIn jobs. So that's how I landed this job. I applied in March, so it was one of those series of jobs that I was applying. I used to apply for 10, 15 jobs per day. So it was one of that postings that I had applied, and I didn't even realize until I got the call where the recruiter said that they found my resume on LinkedIn through the application on LinkedIn. And I find generally a lot of calls I started getting through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is where most of my interviews came from. So I would say that's your number one. That should be your number one priority. I would suggest invest in LinkedIn Premium. So that's been very useful for me. You're able to reach out to recruiters directly. So I would say LinkedIn. Then Naukri has been fairly helpful, but I wouldn't say to a great extent as much as LinkedIn did. So yeah.
Okay. So in LinkedIn, tell me what was your strategy? First you had a subscription of LinkedIn Premium, right?
Mhm.
And then when you found a suitable job that matched your profile, you applied for it and also reached out to the recruiter assigned to it. Did you do that?
In some cases, I did, but that I wish I did more of that because initially I started doing that, but then obviously you reach a plateau, you're not getting any more calls, and that time you get frustrated. So I stopped reaching out.
Hmm.
And then this one, I did not reach out. I had applied and they had called me because the financial year had started and there
Hmm.
were openings that were coming up. But I would, in the hindsight, say that if I had reached out more often to more recruiters, then probably my job search would have been more easier. I mean, I would have landed with a job much
Hmm.
more faster.
Okay. So point to be noted to all of you here, besides applying directly on the LinkedIn website, it comes very handy if you also connect with the recruiter and send a copy of your resume.
Yeah.
Okay. Note that point.
And it's very helpful to have the premium subscription because then you are able to send LinkedIn messages to unknown contacts because at that point, recruiter is an unknown contact. So
Yeah. Were you continuously also posting on LinkedIn any article about business analysis or something like that?
yes, ma'am. So that's something I took as a good feedback from our interview workshops. So I was constantly posting. So that's something I did. A good thing you brought it up. I was constantly posting about user stories, various topics related to BA,
Hmm.
and how I am transitioning from a quality process background, how I bring those skills into the BA role.
Hmm.
So I was trying to bring that transition also into my posts.
Hmm.
So people who would look into my LinkedIn profile would get a flavor of what I bring to the table and skill sets I bring to the table
Yes.
and get an idea. So that posting also I think helped a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Because I used to see your posting,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like those postings. So I knew that you were quite active.
Yeah.
So point number 2 for each one of you over here, be active on LinkedIn. If currently you're not active, it's time that you get active. During your job search, you should be active. You don't need to be a thought leader in order to put a post in LinkedIn. Whatever you learn in our courses, you can create a small posting about it, like Anirudh already mentioned about the user story or data flow diagram, whatever it is. Create a post and be active and ensure that on a daily basis there is some article going out from your side. Okay. Some of you don't know, LinkedIn also has a feature where you can schedule the post for an entire week or 2 weeks. So you don't have to go log into your LinkedIn account every day and post, because you might be wondering in the midst of my busy schedule, how can I post every day? Okay, so you can schedule it one Sunday, you can sit and you can schedule it for the entire week, and the posting will go on the scheduled time without any intervention from your side. So start getting active in LinkedIn. Okay. In every interview, how many rounds did you go through? Tell me.
Uh, so everything was preliminary round until the one that I landed a job with. I used to get rejected at the preliminary round.
Okay.
So my major takeaway is to everybody is that first round is really the hardest. So
Hmm.
that's where people are going to test you a lot. They're going to do a rapid fire questioning. They're going to do stress test you and do various kind of things to bring down your confidence. Their intention is not to bring down your confidence, but rather to test you. So first round is usually the hardest. So once you navigate past that, I think second and third rounds are usually mostly behavioral and cultural fit questions. So which you can, I'm sure, get past it pretty easily. So first, crossing the first round was really hard. In this job of mine, I had 3 rounds of interview.
Okay. Here you had 3 rounds of interview. Hmm. So tell me, how many interviews you gave before you gave this one, which clicked for you?
I would say for 5 interviews.
5 interviews.
Yeah.
Hmm. And what is that one thing that you would say that made this particular interview click? What do you feel?
I think our sessions, ma'am. I think I came back to you. Obviously, you'll remember we had one-on-one sessions. We used to talk a lot. I mean, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's going to be hard if I say that it was easy. I used to get lot frustrated. But then it was also important to remember what went wrong because I realized in some of the interviews I was not one particular interview which is in a banking domain. I was not confident. I had all the answers in the mind, but as I mentioned, it was the first round, so they were trying to filter out people. So they were doing the rapid fire questioning, and one question after the other. Although answers were in the mind, I lost confidence after a point of time.
Hmm.
So after that, we met and we spoke about how we can navigate past that and how resume can be tweaked, how my introduction can be better.
Hmm.
And then it was more of presenting myself with confidence, keeping my calm, even if the other person is trying to provoke, then you
Yeah,
still have to maintain your ground and present yourself honestly as to what you can bring to the table. Do not give false promises. Just
correct.
tell what you're capable of and what you're willing to learn. And I think many recruiters appreciate that.
Yeah, that's a good input, Anirudh. I really appreciate you brought that particular point. I remember when you were frustrated, you came back. We had a chat, long chat
Yeah,
about it. What can we do about it? What are the things that are not working? And then you tweaked it accordingly. So that's great. That's something that worked in your favor,
correct.
right?
Also, one more point is Chat GPT is also very helpful. So help make use of Chat GPT for your Q&A. Because if you have a copy of job description, take help from Chat GPT. Yeah, that's what I did. But more importantly than that, the interview prep sessions, what I took from you, the 1 week session we took,
Hmm.
that boosted my confidence immensely. But ChatGPT sort of gave me a context of what you can expect in that interview and
Hmm.
how you can don't memorize any answers, just get imbibe that in and put it in your own words, and you don't have to fib around anything. Just be confident of what you have done. There's nothing more than what you have done. Present that confidently. That's about it.
Some sample questions that you can share with the students here, something that you can remember.
Sure, bro. So in this interview, they asked me, first round, they asked me, the client has an expectation of you being able to coordinate testing, the UATs. So they
Hmm.
asked me about relevant experience. I said I have not worked in software testing. They said immediately any kind of testing.
Hmm.
Then I was able to bring my examples because I come from an automotive testing background. Then I presented examples from an automotive testing standpoint.
Hmm.
This was with the recruiter, and when it came with the actual client, they although it was for a contractor role, they were asking me about 2 to 3 years goal where I would like to see myself, and I told them like I want to get into product strategy, things like that. Then they immediately cross questioned me, asking me whether I was aware of the fact this is a contract role. I said I am aware, but then that's where your confidence has to come in. I said we don't know what the future is going to hold. Thereby, I was trying to put it across to them that I am confident of where I want to get, regardless of where I am today. So that is very important. And just in general, they will ask you about whether you know SQL. That's one thing they asked me. I've worked with SQL, but
Hmm.
not a lot. But sometimes we tend to say things like I worked little, I've had little client experience. That's one thing I took from our session as well, where you told me don't say little or some. Be
Hmm.
confident. If you've done it, just say that you've done it. Because it is up to them to judge how good you are or not good you are. If you've done it, then just say it. If you have not done it, tell that you're willing to learn. So that would be my simple takeaways, and that's pretty much how I address the whole interview for any of the questions that they asked. So even if they ask me anything about that I have not done, I try to present it in a way that I was willing to learn.
Hmm. Yes, that's very much required. I remember discussing this in our
Yeah.
initial discussion. If you are open to learning, companies appreciate it.
Yeah.
And many a times it so happen in the interview, if a question is asked about a tool or a particular artifact, and you have not worked on it, you don't have no knowledge about it, that's where the interview starts breaking. That's where your confidence starts breaking, and then you try to cook up something. The lot of ahs and and all, when it comes from your side, it is quite obvious for the interviewer that you do not have any knowledge about what is being asked. So be very honest. If you don't have knowledge of that particular tool, say that sorry, I don't have any exposure in this tool. However, I am open to learning. I have learned so many tools in my entire career, and I don't think this would be a very difficult task for me.
Yeah. Another suggestion is you bait first. Don't let them to bait you. You bait them first. Because I was going into a fintech domain, right? So I already baited them saying that I don't have fintech experience, but I have been making efforts like to learn KYC audits, AML, which we did in our project. So I put it across to them that this is what I have been doing to get up to speed. And even one more thing from our interview I remember, which is very important, is I told them the first few days I would like to understand the application that the team is building, understand the user flow, because then that will give me as a perspective from a BA standpoint on how things need to look like, system features should look like, and that would be my approach. So I already put together a plan of what my roadmap to sort of onboard into the team is going to look like. So in my head, I was already trying to present it to them that I'm already project ready. So that those things really helped me a lot. All our interview sessions helped me a lot. So that's how I would say you can address it.
Okay.
Don't let them bait you. You bait them first.
The ball is in your court.
Yeah. Keep it always in your court.
Yes. Okay. Tell me, do you think an IIBS certification helps procure a job faster?
I mean, honestly, I don't have an ECBA certification. So it was, so I would say, yeah, I was able to get a job that I don't know if other people might find it differently. So yeah, that would be my answer at this point. But I think it might help you to get an edge because I also had Scrum and Product Owner certification. So it might help your resume get picked if you have an IABA certification for sure. But yeah, I didn't have one, but it definitely helps.
I wanted to know your perspective.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe in this last interview, I remember you had sent me a message in the morning that you have got the offer letter, and then in the evening you had a second offer letter.
Oh yeah, actually, I got two offers at the same time. One was a full-time employment with my core domain, that was in Chennai. So yeah, so this one I got it in the morning. That previous night I had the interview. The next morning the recruiter said they want to go ahead, and the other one also came in the evening. So that was two offers later. That was for a process specialist role, which was in my core domain.
Okay. So all the hard work paid off. Huh?
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing. It comes when you least expect it.
Yes. Then offers come in all directions. Everybody wants you.
Yeah, until then I was like really frustrated. Like 3 months I was just waiting and I'm like, what is going on? It was also end of financial year, so a lot of people were not hiring.
Yes, that happens in the end of financial year.
Yeah.
For some couple of weeks, they pause hiring, and then the next financial year, when it starts, the hiring.
Yeah. Even this one, I was like, chalo, the interview came through. Somebody's calling me, so let me attend the interview. I was not confident. I was like, I'm not gonna get it. Then they said second round is there. Okay, fine, I'll attend the second round. Then they said technical round is there. I was like, how far is this going to go? I was at that point, I just left it. Like I was thinking of it like, okay, yet another interview, yet another rejection. Let's have some learning. Let's go forward to the next one. But then you never know when it's going to come. I mean, it is very simple to say at this point, but when you go through that, it's really hard.
Yeah. This is an important message that Anirudh has said. Every interview he has taken it as a yet another learning. Mark his words, a learning. Okay. So don't take interviews as just, okay, I'm going to flunk, I'm going to be rejected. Okay, there is something to learn today. Today is my interview. I'm going to learn something new. Go with that. You'll see that itself boosts your confidence because you go with a learning mindset and you don't think about rejection.
Yeah.
And you are able to then give it your best.
Yeah. You're going there for an alignment. That was my mindset in this interview. Till then, I was desperate. I need this job, so I'll get it. This interview, I was more like, fine. Somebody's having a discussion with me. I am having a discussion with them. So if there is an alignment, we'll go ahead. If it's not, then yeah, it's a learning. So I would say wiring myself to that sort of a mindset helped, because more often than not, it's about the alignment, what you bring to the table and what the
Correct.
company wants.
Correct. Because that when you change that mindset itself, it makes a lot of difference.
For sure.
To attend your interviews with the mindset that, okay, I will be learning something new today. The interviewer who's going to come, I'm having a discussion with a healthy discussion.
It's a discussion, yeah.
Don't think about the outcome. If you're constantly thinking about the outcome, all the answers that you know will also get erased from your memory. And you're definite to goof it up then. Then you are handing over the ball you're putting the ball in their court. Then they have control over the interview. So don't do that. Okay. Anything else you would like to share, Anirudh?
Yes, ma'am. Our meditations, if I may add to that. So that stress part of it was there. So I enrolled with ma'am's emotional intelligence training, and on constantly she used to follow up. And even if I was like slacking a little bit, she would just say that, okay, did you do this meditation? Did you, do those activity which I asked you to do? So that immensely helped me, even during the interview preparation. That meditation was really, really helpful, and I continue to do that even now. So I would say that has been very useful. If people have anxiety and stress issues, whether you're working or you're looking for a job, I would say the meditation session helped a lot. But primarily, yeah, capstone projects, interview session, the 1 week interview session, those would be your knowledge base. I think that, along with whatever you already bring to the table with your existing work experience, that should be good enough. You just address your transferable skills and present yourself confidently.
Okay, that's great. So I remember when Anirudh was giving these multiple interviews, he was getting very anxious and frustrated, just like how he mentioned. So I suggested some meditation sessions. He had some sessions with me, emotional intelligence sessions, where we created specific career-related meditations, where he could visualize the future career. So those meditations were specific to his future goals. And the future goals from Anirudh, what he aims to become in his life. And accordingly, there were customized, curated meditations that brought down his anxiousness.
Yeah.
And
I still remember that meditation that you gave, where it said about your God coming and giving you the offer letter. That's what you're expecting. And that week only, I had all the interviews also. So
yeah,
I remember that.
and
Yeah.
that's how it happened, right? God came and gave you offer
That indeed
letters.
helped me. Yeah, everything to the point on what the meditation said is what exactly happened. I'm not even exaggerating. I don't have the need to. But that's what happened. I mean, I'm just black and white as what it is.
But I'm glad that many people, when I suggest these practices, they don't follow. But I'm really glad and thankful to you, Anirudh, that you followed it to the core.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the implementation of all these things is little difficult.
True.
As human beings, we follow it for 1 or 2 days and then we are back to square one. Meditation se kya hone wala hai? We come back to
change is gradual. I think we'll all have to be patient. That's my lesson that I take away from our sessions, because we all want immediate results. But I think I've learned to be sort of a little bit more calmer, patient, and follow the process.
Yeah,
Things will
follow the
come.
process. You're a process guy, right?
Yeah, I'm a process guy, so
so you follow the process.
Yeah, follow the process, and then whatever is meant to come will come. I mean, at the time that you least expect it. So that's what that would be my suggestion.
Correct. Anyone else, before we wrap up, would like to ask a question to Anirudh about, most of you are searching for jobs. If you would like to have ask some specific question, you can switch on your camera and ask him. Raj, Shrikala, Aisha, Aishwarya, any one of you, before we let go of him, you have specific question, you can ask.
Yeah. And congratulations, first of all. Many congratulations. I'm also in the middle of the job hunting process. So I just wanted to understand, how did you go around negotiating your offers in terms of compensation?
Yeah.
What take?
For the job one I took up, that is right now where I'm working, I didn't negotiate a lot. Like they asked me what was your expectation, I quoted them, and they sort of gave me slightly lesser than what I had expected. And the offer came through. It was very straightforward. I mean, when I have say this, it will look unbelievable, but it was very straightforward. I told them, "Can you give me the X amount of rupees that I'm expecting, which I had initially told you?" And they immediately agreed.
Yeah. So for him, there was no negotiation,
No
Aisha. God
negotiation.
gave him what he asked for.
So, but what happened is the other company, the Chennai company, they downsized my initial ask to a lot more. They brought it down a lot. But using this offer letter, I didn't try to negotiate, but they were asking for all the documents, all my, previous work experience documents and all that. And
Yeah.
most I added to that. So they asked me, what is this? I said, this is the current offer that I have. And what personally, the reason I didn't take that offer is because of the whole approach that they took. Initially, they told me a certain number, and then on the phone, they said, this is the number that we can offer. Then I said, put it in the email and send. Then there, they bumped up the number and sent it to me. But by that time, I had already joined this company in Bangalore, where I'm working right now. So they were asking questions like, "Where are you right now?" It was like getting into a very private area, like very, very, very shady practices. So I didn't like the approach, although they increased the number. So I didn't go ahead with it. It was still they matched the offer, but I didn't go ahead with it because of the overall approach they took. But answering your question, I didn't have to negotiate much. So I quoted a certain amount. They came up
Good
with a
for you.
I came up with a number and then I told them, can you offer me this? And they offered me. And I was happy. I was not shooting too much up also because I do. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to tell. I personally did that. I don't want everybody to think everybody has to do that. I personally acknowledge the fact that I was changing domains. So I limited my ask. I capped my ask to a certain level. Like I know I can't go beyond a certain level. If it was my own domain, yeah, then yes, I will demand what I think I deserve. Here, I think I capped that, so I think they were okay with that too.
Hmm.
Got
I remember having this discussion with Anirudh
Yeah,
where he told me his ask, and I said, you have asked for a little less that compared to the experience that you have.
yeah,
This you should have asked for more. But then he was okay with it. That's for as far as
yeah.
you are okay with it, it's fine.
My idea was I'll prove myself and then get more.
Yeah.
I know,
it.
so
Okay.
that was my way because it's a new domain. Again, I have to respect the company also. They were still willing to
Right.
give me an opportunity. I didn't sell myself too low. I don't low. I mean, I'm not saying lowball yourself. Do not
Correct.
look low. But yeah, like ma'am said, I could have asked for a lot more. But then I decided to, tweak my numbers a little bit because of that
As
reason.
I have been coaching him closely, I know his capabilities, I know his knowledge level, I know that he will be able to perform, just like you, Aisha. I've worked very closely with you, so I know your competencies. So I said, this was a little low,
Yeah,
Anirudh.
she was very upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he's very happy that he has been able to actively start in a BA's role. So it's
Mm.
not much of a cut that he has got in terms of income. But yeah, as far as you are okay with it and you are, you are in that journey where you have made the transition, then nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
Got it. I'm actually in the middle of deciding between two jobs. I have got two offers now.
Ah,
And
wow.
yes,
Good.
yeah, I have received two offers and I have to make decision for the second offer today. So I was just confused like which one to go ahead with. So they'll be like then
Yeah.
Wow.
deciding my joining.
Hmm.
It's very hard. I was there
It's a
last.
very like a small bracket where the compensation difference is coming, but in terms of other benefits, I'm seeing a significant difference. So, but the thing is, the company which is giving me a lower amount is a big company. It's in Big Four. I've got offer from Deloitte. So
Oh,
yes,
wow.
yes. So the other company is a product-based company called High Radius. So they are offering me more benefits in terms of like in compensation as well, in joining bonus as well, and benefits also. I'm
Okay.
confused between the two.
Yeah.
That's why.
No worries, dear. After this call, we'll connect. Okay. And we'll
And
clear
that
out.
would be really helpful. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, we'll
I was
clear
in the
out that
same boat
confusion.
last week. Before me, I joined only 2 weeks ago, so I was in the same boat last week.
Okay.
Both my offers also are big companies. One was Hitachi Energy in Chennai, and
Nice.
where I'm working right now is Intuit in Bangalore. So yeah, both come with own good reputation. But then that's where I think we'll have to make a call what we want to do. I was thinking of it like if I wanted to get back into my own domain, then why I invested all this time? I wanted a pivot right now, and I
Right.
wanted it to be a role. and this company is offering me that, and that's how I looked at it. So this is an opportunity. So
Yeah.
let me get into it.
Yeah. And the big message for each one of you over here who is just starting their job search journey. Many of you are just starting, because I know Shri and Raj, they are just completing our course. So they will be just starting the job search. If there are any thoughts that coming to your mind, whether this transition will work, whether companies will consider me, you already have two people who are telling you. There are so many students in our community who have been hired by MNCs, Big Fours. So if MNCs and Big Fours are giving you an opportunity, what is making you think that will I get an opportunity? There are so many people over there from different, Aisha comes from a different background. Anirudh comes from a different background, and they are getting offers from MNCs. So never have that question in your mind, will any company consider me? I'm not coming from a big background. No, you are given opportunities.
Yeah.
Opportunities come, but you should have the patience to wait. It cannot happen in 15 days. It cannot happen in a month. You have to give it some time.
Yeah.
It was months-long process, actually. You just, as Anirudh mentioned, I was agreeing to all the points that he was saying. You just have to be consistent and patient.
Yeah.
It's the game of consistency and patience.
Ma'am said 5. I told I decided I put my numbers for myself as 10 to 15. Ma'am said at least apply for 5 jobs per day. I kept myself 15. I would just apply. Like after a point, it was like carpet bombing. I was just applying. There would be 5, 6 jobs which I want to. Rest of them were just carpet bombing. And to be honest, the one I got was actually one of those carpet bombed
Impressive, nice.
because it wasn't directly with the company, so it was through a recruiter, and it turns out it was one of those carpet bomb I threw. But anyway, you never know what you're gonna get. I think
Actually, both my jobs are also like I didn't apply for those, but I just kept myself visible on different portals, platforms. I updated myself regularly there. Wasn't posting on LinkedIn, but I was engaging with a lot of BA posts that was there out there, commenting everywhere, connecting with those people, seeing in their circles and applying there.
Because the recruiters see your LinkedIn profile for your activity. Even after
Yes. And LinkedIn Premium helps.
Yeah.
I also took that and it helped. Yes.
Another trick I learned, I don't know, a lot of people told me it's worked for them. They go and update their Naukri profile every day.
Yes, that helps. I actually purposely set an alarm for 8 a.m. every day.
Yeah.
And I used to, like, even if I'm not waking up early, I used to just open my Naukri at 8 a.m. and just update my resume. Same resume, but I'm updating it every day.
Yeah, just update the resume.
Just updating anything, and so your profile gets highlighted.
Yeah,
so I was seeing the stats that my stats were gradually increasing, that my visibility from Naukri increased. And both these calls I got from actually Naukri. I got several calls from LinkedIn as well, but that didn't scaled up. But yeah, these two were also from Naukri.
In my case, the other one was from Hirist. Although a lot of people tell Hirist don't come, even I also believe.
Hirist, Indeed, both. We had a session some weeks ago. Ma'am mentioned, you also mentioned, Anirudh. That was really helpful. So after that, I started myself on Indeed and Hirist as well. Some random work from home remote portals as well. So I was everywhere. I don't know from where this came out, but yeah, like just be consistent, be everywhere, show yourself available in the market. That helps a lot.
Right. And tag yourself as open to work, the rest of it on LinkedIn. That should be visible to people. So I think, those things help. And you learn with, in every interview, like ma'am correctly said, don't lose frustration. I mean, don't get into frustration. I shouldn't be saying it because I was a lot frustrated. After every interview, I wouldn't hear back or get an email saying, typically the worst part is you don't hear back. None of them want to respond back to you. And that's very annoying. But yeah, you have to just keep moving. And I don't think you should limit yourself. Like you keep applying, you can have multiple offers. So in one of the interview, one of the offer, when I got offered with in Chennai, that interview they asked me, "Do you have other interviews?" I said, "Yeah, I'm interviewing with other places because they have not completed their part. Right? I don't have an offer with me." So I think it's well within your right to say that I am exploring options. But
yes. Be very honest on that.
Yeah.
I also did the same. Even when I got the offer, I just told them, yeah, I'm interviewing at other places. I didn't confirm them that I have the offer, but I told them, yeah, that I'm available in the market and I'm seeing all the opportunities.
Correct. And they understand because just like how they have multiple candidates, you can have multiple companies.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, it's well within your right.
Okay, Aisha, I'll see you after this call. We'll have a short discussion about the offers that you have.
Uh,
I'll help you to
Congratulations.
narrow it down. Yeah,
yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. That will be really helpful.
no worries. Okay, so thank you so much, Anirudh. Thank you for sharing your insights with everyone here and also our YouTube viewers. Your session will be very beneficial for all the people who are planning a transition into a business analyst role and they have no idea how to go about the job search. Okay,
Yep.
so thank you so much for sharing
Thank you,
that,
ma'am.
and
Thank you for
congratulations once again for
thank you, ma'am.
starting your business analysis journey.
Excited. And thank you so much to ma'am. I think immense confidence booster, I would say. I mean, I've rarely seen her get angry, if I may say. She's very patient. I think we are, I mean, I consider myself fortunate, all of us rather fortunate to have you as a mentor. So yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Anirudh.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we will move on in our session for a presentation that will be made by our current Diamond Certification students. Let me bring them in spotlight. We have, just a minute. Yes. So we have Raj here, Raj from
Hello,
IIM,
guys.
and we have Shri joining us, Shri Kala.
Hi, all.
Both of them are part of our current Diamond Certification program, and they're just in the process of completing our program. Okay, so today they are going to present a very interesting case study from healthcare. I had just given them an outline of this case study, and they have expanded that case study very beautifully. And they have come up with process flow diagrams, their own functional requirements, and you'll see how beautifully they have executed this case study that was given by me. So I will hand it over to you guys now to take the session forward from here.
Perfect. Thank you, Sajana. Shri, if you can do the honors and share the screen, please. Well, I had a huge introduction lined up, but well, you took away all our introduction. But before that,
You can
I just
go
want to
ahead and
say,
give your introduction, Raj.
like, I just want to say, like, me and my colleague, future aspiring BAs, so are gonna give us a business case study today. So, Shri, if you could share your screen and do the honors of highlighting it, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Are you able to see the screen, Raj?
Yes, Shri. Thank you. Thanks. So the first, we have this project related to the patient discharge module by a nurse. Okay. So this project briefly discusses about how this patient discharge module is and what is the existing procedure and what is to be state, what is the final state that we are proposing as that is the main aim of this case study. So, and if you have any queries or questions at the end of each slide, like, you can ask us any queries and questions. Me and Shri will be able to answer those questions for you. Shri, if you could go to the next screen, please. Thank you. So this screen is just like, say it gives you what the total contents, what are we going to discuss about. So there are a few things like called context diagram, gap analysis, as is to be kind of stuff, or HIPAA, HIPAA. So there are a few new terminologies over there. Don't worry about any of those things over there. We are going to discuss this as we go through our slides. What is HIPAA, or what is gap analysis, or what is as is or to be state. We're going to discuss each and everything in brief as we go through the slides. Shri, next slide, please. Thank you. So coming to the actual business case. So what exactly is happening in the company? Some hospital called Sunshine Hospital. They're receiving a lot of complaints from the patient. Why? Because of delayed discharges. The discharge is very manual process and very tedious, and it is very time consuming process. and it lacks visibility, and there is no proper management and stuff. So as a result, there is a lot of complaints that is going on, going on. As a result, this is also causing few financial losses to the company as well due to this, and the customer is unhappy. So it negatively impacts the business. So as a result, the management has approved something called as a digital discharge module, which will be accessed from the nurse station. So nurse will be dealing with the digital discharge module. She will be the main user of this digital discharge module within an entity of system called hospital management system. So that is a bit brief of the project. So if any one of you guys or any of you have any questions, please go on. No questions? Perfect. Let's go to the next slide, Sri. Thank you. So as you said, now there's a new terminology, as is. So what do you mean by as is? As is nothing but simple. The current process that is present in the management, or that is present in their company, or that is present in the system. This is what is called as is. As is, that is just in a business term, it is named as is. So what is the current process, the current discharge process that is present within the hospital? If you can see, there is a lot of verbal and handwritten approvals. You'll further see what is this about, in a diagram, where we have developed DFD, the process flow diagrams, and also during the gap analysis. Again, forget about all these terminologies for now. When we come to the slide, we're going to discuss more about it. So yeah, this is just to give a brief overview. Just remember, as is nothing but the current state of the hospital system, right? So that is the main focus of the slide. As is nothing but the current state. So if you can see, there is a lot of verbal and handwritten approvals. There's a lot of forms, and it's chaos between the departments where they don't have proper tracking system across the departments. So as a result, how is it impacting the system negatively? So if you can see, there's a huge delays for a doctor approval. So in terms of health, each and every matter counts. So of course, 2 to 4 hours of doctor delay in a doctor appointment is very crucial. So it's hampering their business. And also when you consider from an ethical point of view, it is disastrous, from an ethical point of view as well. And of course, as a result, the patient is negatively impacted. So his mind, his mental state is completely frustrated on top of whatever he's going through. So, and of course, and indirectly, it is affecting the employees as well. The main person, the main user nurse who is involved in this is extremely burnt out. And also it has also one of the financial disadvantage for the company as well. For the hospital, if you see, there is room unavailability for your new admissions. As a result, it is impacting the business negatively. So this is the current state of the system, and also this is what is costing them. This is what the outcome of this current system is. So does anyone have any questions? Nope. So from the next slide, my colleague Shri is gonna take over. Shri, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Raj, for giving that wonderful introduction about the project and keeping the session people informed about the project background. So as Raj has beautifully illustrated about the current problem, let us first understand what triggered this hospital, Sunshine Hospital, to come up with such a plan to go digital. So this is a context diagram in which the context basically means about the circumstances or the environment which triggers the need of a stakeholder. I am just mentioning it in the Babak terms, but let me put it simple. You are doing in your life, you are doing your particular job. Now you are planning to switch to a different profile. So you will be thinking certain factors which are triggering to make you think why you want to switch to a different profile, here in this case as a BA, right? So there is a context which is triggering you to understand the need, why I want to switch my career to a better option to become a BA. So that is the context. So I hope you understood what the meaning of context exactly is. So now in this context diagram, at the center, you will see hospital management system, which is an application which consists of lots of entities. Assuming this hospital management system has pharmacy, billing, scans, lab, and doctor portal, which are integrated to this hospital management system or to this application. Hence, it is all in the same color. But now what the hospital management system has decided is to help the life of nurses, right? So they want to create a digital discharge module, which will help our nurses, help their nurses not from burning out regarding the discharge process of a particular patient in the hospital. So this is mentioned in blue color so that it stands out from the existing micro applications. So this is the new module which is, or entity which is going to be integrated in the hospital management system. Now, Raj has already mentioned about this ASIS process, which is the current state faced by the hospital, Sunshine Hospital. So we both did, there is a gap analysis which is identified why this current digital module have to be implemented in the hospital management system. So let us first compare what has brought to this thought. So this is a literally theoretical aspect, but sooner you will see the visual representation of it. But however, I would like to walk you through this gap analysis. So in the current state, it is like there are the main actor is the nurse. So the role here, which we call as actors in our terms, here is nurse. The nurse is getting the verbal approval or written approval from the doctor. Once she gets it, the doctor has to fill or sign multiple forms, and then the nurse's duty is to fill those multiple physical forms, and it also consumes time. So when we see this situation to the future state, which is the to-be process, which is yet to be developed, on the right side, you will see that again there is also role and the future method, which is going to be implemented. So the roles have doctor and nurse here. So the doctor in the future system will be submitting the discharge approval in that system. Okay, he's not going to sign any particular papers here and there. He's just going to submit his approval in that HMS, hospital management system, in that application digital discharge module. Okay, then what happens? The nurse is receiving a notification of discharge. So she sees, assuming there is a dashboard in that system, the nurse's dashboard, she is receiving a notification stating that the particular patient is about to be discharged, and it is the approval from the patient's doctor. Okay, so that is the first part of this. And now again, coming back to the current state, here what happens is the nurse is manually visiting all the departments where she has to submit all the hand-filled physical forms. Okay, this patient is getting discharged, so you have to prepare the clearance for this payment, clearance for this pharmacy, his medications, all those things, any other clearance required for his x-rays. The scans obviously consist of the x-rays, the sonography and MRI, all put together into that particular entity. So are there any clearance required for that? Then the lab, the vital test, which the patient would have taken. So all those clearance required from the lab. So she has to follow up manually in each and every department. So that causes a delayed discharge. You can see it in the third line here. And it is again because of lack of communication or understanding between the departments, there is delay from the departments also. I am putting all these pharmacy, scans, lab, billing under the single name departments, so that is easy to understand. Now, there is a delay from these departments in processing all these clearances. And it also affects the nurse in allotting the room to new admissions, so to the new patients who are you who are awaiting in the hospital. So these three are the second section of these current status in the Sunshine Hospital. Now, when you compare it with the future state, how this is going, this digital system is going to help the hospital is, the right side, you will see the digital discharge module, which is that system. This system automatically initiates multiple triggers. Okay, so multiple triggers. First one to all the departments under the departments are the pharmacy, X-ray, etc., MRI, lab, billing, payments, everything is happening. So the trigger is first simultaneously initiated to departments. Then there is a housekeeping department in hospitals. So once that approval is initiated, automatically the housekeeping people should be notified that yes, this particular room, the patient in this room is going to discharge, so you have to come and clean the room. So that that notification is also initiated, and then a discharge summary is also initiated. Means it is alerting the nurse, yeah, you be prepared with the discharge summary report of this particular patient. So all those things are simultaneously initiated by this hospital management system, or the DDM module, the discharge module. Okay. Now you'll be wondering why I have mentioned highlighted certain areas in yellow and certain areas in blue. Now, these yellow highlighted areas are critical to be considered, because we are dealing with the sensitive information of patient. As Raj has already mentioned in the beginning, one of the beginning slides, like HIPAA, which is Healthcare Information and Portability and Accountability Act, which is a crucial act passed in US. So I will walk you through that slide in a moment. To give you a highlight, it is like it all deals with the personal information or sensitive information of the patient, which is not to be disclosed to anyone. Okay, so in the as a situation, the nurse who is filling the forms physically, it is normal that she can misplace the document during the rush, or she can hand it over to some other nurse. Just for a moment, I'm going to this department, please take care of this. So the details of the patient is automatically getting exposed there, which is not supposed to happen. And it's also happening in the departments also. She is handing it over to, she is assuming a person X is supposed to take care of this sheet, but that person is not available at the time when she is approaching that department. So she is handing it to some other person who is not supposed to see that. But it is all happening. So it is a violation of HIPAA rules there. So the violations or the security aspects are being highlighted in yellow color, while this blue color or the cyan color represents the automation of the entire process when the hospital implements this digital discharge module. Okay, so that is why I have mentioned it in different colors. Now, once the system initiates this discharge summary, what happens is the nurse will have to just cross-check if everything is correct. Even though it is system, she takes it as a responsibility. I will go through the system manual these as a checklist. Yeah, that checklist, the clearance from this pharmacy department, I have received clearance from this MRI or the scans department, I have received clearance from lab is received. Okay, so all these are received. The payment is done by the patient. Yes, now I can hand over the documents to the patient, and he is officially discharged from the hospital, and the room is allotted to the new patient. So this is a theoretical representation of the problem statement. Now let us go to next slide, which is the visual representation of the assets. So here I have utilized the swim lanes for representing the assets of the project, the current situation of the project. On the top, you will see the module name and the current situation. Towards the left, you will see 4 roles or actors: doctor, nurse, then departments, patient. Okay, maybe this will be a bit better. So doctor, nurse, departments, and patient. So we have 4 roles or 4 actors here. Now, if you remember, our ASIS starts with doctor. So I have started my process from the doctor's lane. So what happens is doctor, in the current situation, the doctor is giving a verbal approval to the nurse. Yeah, this person is ready to be discharged from the hospital. The nurse can go ahead with the formalities. So now once the nurse receives a verbal approval, she will start filling multiple documents. So remember, there are multiple physical forms which the nurse have to fill. So those are the documents she is filling here. Now, once those documents are filled, what will she do? She sends these documents manually to all the departments, right? There are 4 departments we saw in the previous slide. So she goes there, manually hands over the documents to each department. See, this person is going to get discharged. Please process the clearance for this patient. Okay, so it does not happen that as she hands over the documents to each and every department, they immediately start working on it. The people in the department will be busy with their previous work. So the delays are expected in these departments. Okay, so that is what is represented in that extended D thing. Okay, and then once a considerable amount of delay happens, and assuming the departments have completely done all the clearance from their part, they will inform the nurse, yeah, the one you have requested is already the clearance, everything is been processed. Now you can come and collect the documents. Now, once the nurse picks up all those clearances, she then fills again a discharge slip manually, stating or filling all the patient details in the document, stating that officially this person is going to get discharged. Okay. Now she is handing over that discharge slip to the patient. Now here comes the patient's role. Once the patient receives all these clearances, this patient or the bystander of the patient have to go to each and every department to get the clearance done. So you might be confused, isn't this the nurse has already done? No, the nurse hasn't filled anything. Means the clearance is like the payment, any other pending thing which the patient have to do from his side. She is just initiating the request to the departments that you have to initiate the process of clearance. The patient will be coming once the clearance, the documents are ready. I will inform him and he will come and finish all the processes. Okay. So here, once the patient receives all the discharge, means a discharge slip from the nurse, he will wait for the clearance to get over. Mainly, the payment aspect, if I should say here. So he will have to wait. The department will, each of the department will say, yes, mine is over. Here is your copy of that. You can go to this place and get this process done. So the patient will wait for all those processes, and then in between he is going, of course, the bystander, if they are then assisting the patient, then they will go and check, is the processing over? Am I ready to process my bills? They will say no. Then again, the patient has to wait for that clearance to happen. And finally, if the clearance is done, then the processing is over. Then if it is yes, the patient is officially getting discharged from the hospital. So that is the current situation. So here we will see that there are lots and lots of delays happening in from the department side, and then from the patient side. Though it is not the delay from patient side is happening, the patient have to wait for the process to get over and then officially get discharged. So the delays are happening here, which is the reason the hospital has approved for a software, which is the digital discharge module, which is a future state. Okay, this is yet to be built. So again, in this slide, if you see there, I have used the swim lanes itself, but there are 6 actors here. The number of actors have though increased, but still it is going to be much efficient when compared to the ASIS process. So obviously here also the doctor is, the process is going to be started from the doctor. In the previous thing, if you remember, the doctor manually fills the submitting a discharge request directly to whom? To the hospital management system. In that context diagram, we saw the green circle, which is a hospital management system. This is what it is. So the doctor is submitting the discharge in that hospital management system. So if you remember, this application initiates everything simultaneously, isn't it? So that is what is mentioned in the left, in that parallel lines with 3 diamonds. It is a parallel mode happening. It is there with the visual paradigm tool. So the hospital, once the application, once it receives the notification from the doctor stating that this person can be discharged, what it happens is, first, it triggers the departments, okay? See, this person is getting discharged. You have to initiate the clearance notification. So each department will receive its own clearance notification. At the same time, there is a housekeeping department which receives a notification. This patient is getting discharged. You have to go and clean the room so that the new admission can be occupied in this room. Okay, so the housekeeping is also receiving a notification at the same time. Again, towards the right, if you see that this application is simultaneously generating a discharge summary to the nurse. So this is the third thing. So 3 things are happening in parallel here as part of the future state. So once all these triggers are initiated, the respective actors will receive the notification and they will start functioning accordingly. Now, once all these clearance, cleaning notification, everything is satisfied, what the nurse will do is, nurse will continuously monitoring the status of each of these triggers, each of these parallel activities, whether it is happening in time and there is no delay. Once a notification is received, so it all depends upon the business rule which we will receive from the client. So if the activity should be started within the 15 minutes of the notification, then that is the 15 minutes is your business rule. So the nurse will continuously monitor the status of what is happening in each and every department. So she will check if the checks for the clearance in the departments. If it is no, then again she will keep on monitoring the status. If everything is done, then and she receives a clearance, yes, then she submits the, do you remember the nurse will be manually checking all the documents, the kind of checklist she will be having in her hand. She will say like, yeah, received the clearance from this department, received this from here, here, here. So after receiving all those things, she will hand over the documents, the related documents to the patient, and then the process comes to an end. So the automation is happening in all these department-wise, housekeeping-wise, and the generating of the discharge summary. It automatically is saving a lot of time for that hospital. And Raj, would you like to take over to discuss about the functional requirements? Sorry, Raj, you are in.
I was on mute. Sorry about that. Yeah, back to the session. Let us discuss about the requirements, like, the functional and non-functional requirements. So guys, anyone have any questions before I move on to this? Does anyone have any questions? No? Yes?
One question I have.
Please, Sajana, go
Yes,
ahead,
ma'am.
please.
Go ahead.
We will be delighted to answer you. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to check. I just saw Shri taking us through the 2B process. I want
Okay.
to know how does the patient get intimation about the progress of the clearance? Usually that is one of the hassles that I've personally faced with the hospitals, that during discharge, the patient's relative, whoever is there, they have to do a constant running around to check if the clearances are in place. Okay, so you constantly go to the nurse's station and check, okay, have you received this clearance? Have you received? Because now, see, last day, imagine the mental state the patient is. They just want to walk out of the hospital as soon as possible. They don't want to spend even a minute in the hospital. Now, there's constant running around by this patient's relative who's accompanying him and who's helping him with the discharge. They have to constantly check with the nurse when it's going to happen, how many more clearances are pending. So can we do anything about that? Here, as I see in the process, again, the patient has to do the same running around with the nurse to check the clearance.
Yeah, I think that would, Shri, do you want to answer or should I?
Yeah, yes,
No,
Raj.
you go ahead, Shri, go on, if you want to go
Yeah,
on.
thank you, ma'am, for asking that question. In fact, there was a question from my side to the subject matter expert on this. So I was also thinking from the patient perspective, because here the patient is again have to be informed. So what is a way the patient can be
Correct.
informed? So I was asking the same. The subject matter expert was also thinking in that aspect. So currently, they are planning to help the nurses burning out to reduce a bit. So they are planning to inform the patient, I mean, inform the nurse that please inform the patient or the bystander that this process is hardly going to take around 30 to 35 minutes or so. So you just need to wait for some more time. The nurse will be assisting you sooner. So that keeping in mind, yeah, 30 to 35 minutes, yes, it should be a request that anyone can accept from the hospital side. However, I also came to understand that the hospital is still planning to elaborate or add more features to this application, in the sense like in the context diagram, if you remember, ma'am, there are pharmacy already existing modules, right? Micro modules are already there, and there is a doctor portal. So while discussing this, while I was giving a suggestion, since you have a doctor portal, won't it be good if we have a portal for patient? So where the patient also can see the status, or the bystanders also can see the status. So how long it will take, all those things. So that is a part to be considered, but not in this current situation, ma'am. But it is still in their mind, which they will integrate in the future. So that is out of scope
Currently, it is
for
out
this.
of scope.
Yes, correct. Yeah, currently this is out of scope for them.
Hmm.
So here the patient, in essence, it is like the patient has or the bystander have to wait for 30 to 35 minutes, which should be okay for them, rather than waiting for hours and hours.
But this should go as a suggestion to the SME.
Yeah, yes,
So,
it is
because
already
this
suggested,
is the
ma'am.
technical difficulty that people get on the ground. You will see
Yes.
people are very busy with other patients also. So many
Yeah.
a times you are not able to locate them, and
Yes.
the patient is constantly worried about, okay, what's happening on my discharge? I have no clue about it. So if
Yeah.
he has a portal, or if he has an app that he can get installed, where the clearances he can see, then he doesn't need to run around and check with the nurse.
Yes, yes. So it is there in in their mind, ma'am. But currently it is out of scope for the project. So
Okay,
once this
right.
module is implemented, probably they will switch to the second, the upgradation of this discharge module.
Oh, yes, got it.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So
Raj?
next, yeah, I'll take over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, next, let us come back to your functional requirements. So what do you mean by functional requirements? What is the total scope of your functional requirements? It's simple, functional requirements is nothing but it all links back to your business problem. Okay, whatever it is given in the business problem, or whatever the problem is, whatever the user needs, that falls under the umbrella of your functional requirements. And maybe whatever the other things, maybe related to security, or maybe some other thing the application needs to work, that falls under non-functional requirements. So simple functional requirements, it deals related to the solution and the problem statements, and whatever the end goal of the user is. So that falls under your functional requirements. So we have mentioned say a few functional requirement. So if you see ability to initiate discharge required electronically by authorized clinical staff, or capture and update discharge summary, including diagnosis. This is all the update that is taking place in the discharge summary, or generating electronic discharge summary documents. Again, this is all nothing but few of your functional requirements. This is just say this is what we have identified as a functional requirement. Of course, there will be more functional requirements, or there's many functional requirements. We try to cover a bit of functional requirements over here, and this is just stating your summary. What does each functional requirement cover? Like say electronic discharge summary in this case, or in this case, you notify your billing and administrative departments once discharge is initiated or completed. things like that falls under your functional requirement. Based on that, we can elaborate a bit more and write your test cases for your UAT, or for your UAT, you can write your test cases. That is the main goal or agenda of your functional requirements, to write your UAT test cases so that it can be tested by your business user, and the application can get a go ahead. Shri, can you go to the next screen, please? Before that, does anyone have any questions related to that screen over there?
Yes. What
Please.
are EHR and EMR systems?
EHR and EMR, I'm not sure. Shri, do you have any idea about EHR and EMR?
Yeah, it is electronic health records or electronic medical records. Both are similar. The only difference is that the electronic medical records are the records which contains the vital details of the patient, which the patient can use only in that particular hospital. While this EHR is the same, all the details are there in the records, but the patient can visit multiple hospitals.
Okay. Okay. That's historical data.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay, Shri. Next, anyone else have any questions? No? Okay.
Sorry to can you hear me?
Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I can hear Vignesh. Yeah, yes, please go on.
Yes, sir. Generate electronic report you mentioned, right? Can you please explain me that in detail?
Generate electronic
FR3
FR3, generate electronic discharge summary
summary
documents.
documents.
If you go back to your business problem, one of it says you have to generate your discharge summary documents electronically. Receive documents, it is simply generate discharge summary documents over here. So this is taking place electronically. So this is one of your tasks, to cover your discharge summary, to cover your functional requirement there, to see whether these documents have been generated electronically. Again, when you go on through a manual process, say if you're storing it in a paper, right? So it's first thing is hazardous, and the second thing, it has a lot of impact on the nature, and the third thing, the chances of document getting degraded or getting under fire is very higher, right? So it is one of the user requirement saying that you have to generate the documents for their own good, for electronically. So that is what we have identified as a functional requirement, and then we just put it over there. Put it over there. That's it. Did it answer your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. Clarify.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Anyone else got any questions? No? Okay, perfect. Shri, can you go on to your test case, please? So this all we just wrote around 2 test cases again. So a test case, what does a test case contain? Basically, a test case number, a summary, or in the previous slide, you've seen FR1, FR2, FR3. So the same thing, the summary, say, for example, if you write generate discharge documents, electronic discharge documents, that can be your test case. And then you write your steps and expected results. The same thing is just a heading, So you write that, and what does it contain? As steps, expected result. What are we expecting if you follow a step? And of course, a status, a pass or fail. Again, this test case writing can fall under many areas. You can write it in Jira, you can write it in X-Ray, Zephyr, or through your Excel and import it. Or there are many ways. Again, it depends on the organization. What do they want and what do they prefer to write a test case? And also a test case can also contain a precondition. So what is a precondition? If you ask me, it's just nothing but it has to satisfy a minimum criteria before starting of a procedure, or before you start something. That is your precondition. It's just literal English meaning. What is your precondition? It before starting a test case, you have to satisfy this condition. That is what your precondition is. So if I will go to your test case one. So again, again, the doctor logs into your HMS system, hospital management system. as a doctor and navigates to doctor home screen. Again, here, like, of course, when a doctor logs in, he should see only his patients, only his dashboard, not say nurse's dashboard or not some other who works in the system or who works in the hospital. So he has to navigate, it navigates to the home screen as soon as he logs into the HMS system, and he navigates to the inpatient list. Inpatient, as the name indicates, whatever the patient he is dealing with, the doctor is dealing with. So he is able to navigate to that list, and he selects the patient ID to be discharged. Patient ID, again, HIPAA, it is falls under all this HIPAA, where privacy is a utmost concern when dealing with certain sensitive cases, like your diagnosis or like your date of birth, very sensitive informations. So he selects a patient to be discharged. So here there is a patient ID, based on this patient ID, you get your patient details and stuff. And next is he clicks on discharge request, like basically it opens up a tab and where he can press discharge request, and he's able to select that and maybe fill required discharge request, like fill any extra notes or anything that he has to fill from his end, any additional information, he fills it up, and then he clicks on submit button, and simultaneously a confirmation discharge request is triggered. So this is what, and if you go back to your Sri, if you can go back to your to be diagram, please. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to explain, your submit discharge request. So as soon as, what does a doctor do over here? I've just described it over there, saying that he fills in his discharge request and everything. As soon as he submits a discharge request, this is what I'm trying to cover, whatever the functionalities that needs to be, whatever the steps that needs to be done within this test. That is what I'm trying to explain it over there. So can you go back to the test case, Shri, please? Thank you. So anyone has any queries related to that?
One business scenario came to me.
Yes.
I was just thinking, what if this particular patient who is getting discharged, he's
Mhm.
undergoing treatment with two doctors? Maybe he has a condition that requires two main doctors' intervention.
Mhm.
He came for a major surgery.
Mhm.
So if the discharge approval has to be given by two doctors, more than one doctor, does your system accommodate that?
Yes. Can you accommodate that right now? Again, it has to be discussed. Right now, whatever the requirements, so we have to discuss with the subject matter expert about this. Can it accommodate and stuff? Right now, whatever we have, whatever the system or assumption, the system that we have designed or we have designed is based on one patient sees one doctor, which is again not an ideal case scenario. As you said,
One
this
patient
was edge
aligned to
case
one
scenario.
doctor. That's what you have done right now, one to one.
One to one, yes. But again, this is again falls under edge case scenarios where one patient requiring more than one doctor or more than one consultant. It is not it is quite common. Again, yeah, we have to discuss with the subject matter expert related to this and come up with how to deal with this edge case scenario over here.
Also, I believe one more business scenario has to be considered where, see, the patients are also allocated to specific nurses.
Yes,
The
the hierarchy in the nurse.
Yeah, so they are allocated to specific. It's not that so that the nurses can take care of the till the time they are there in the hospital. That specific nurse knows the medicines that are prescribed and the dosage that has to be given. So if multiple nurses come, they goof up. Okay, so that's the reason one nurse is always assigned to one patient. Does your system take care of that during discharge? That the same nurse is facilitating the discharge?
No, here we have considered, we actually come up with this constraint as well while we were making to be and as is during during the nurse discharge module, where we were thinking where if you see the hospital hierarchy, say where once you get admitted to the hospital as well, the one who is getting admitted, a different nurse will take a look at your file, or different nurse admits you to the hospital. And once inside your surgery room, a different nurse will take care of it. And once when you're outside, like, once when you're in the discharge room, a different nurse would come in over there. And also you have a nurse hierarchy as well, like, based on whatever the research have done, like, based on the nurse hierarchy within an organization, this is what it is, like, where you have a department head nurse.
No problem, no problem. I understand you have not accommodated that right now.
Yeah, we haven't accommodated yet, but yeah, we have built this system based on certain assumptions. Again, all these questions should be back to the SME, like, saying that how is your hierarchy of your organization? How does your nurse hierarchy work? How does your doctor hierarchy work? Is there any particular edge case scenario that we have to know before going in, or before jumping into the conclusion on things? But right now, this entire system or entire test case, or even few of the to-be and as-is diagram, is built on one-on-one entity, one-on-one relationship. So that is what it is.
Yeah, no problem, Raj. No problem. I just asked you about this business scenario. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So the second one, sorry, go back, Sri. The second one, you guys can read through it. I'll give you 10 seconds
we
of
can
time.
understand. I think we can move to the next slide.
Yeah, thank you. So one thing, we haven't mentioned a negative case over there. So that's one of the thing over there. And as I already explained, non-functional requirement. Non-functional requirement is the requirement that is not specified by the user. Again, but you know that this requirements have to be fulfilled when you're using an application, say such as your security and access control, which is very much important for like when you're dealing with the health sector. Access control and security is a topmost priority. That is one of the thing. Role-based access control, or performance, or availability. Like, these are the few non-functional requirements that we have specified in this slide. So now the next few slides will be taken by Sri. Sri, the table is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Raj. So now we will just have a quick overview on what is HIPAA compliance, and then the HIPAA compliance checklist. So HIPAA, as I informed earlier, it is Healthcare Information Portability and Accountability Act. It is strictly followed in US, which is a law passed in 1996. Now, why it is so important and so strictly followed in US is because this HIPAA compliance consists of the patient's protected health information, or it is also called PHI, which means for us, it may be appearing to be very simple. Oh, what is there in name, age, sex, phone number, etc. But here in US, when we say all these fields, these are considered to be vital or sensitive information, which is not at all to be disclosed to anyone unless they get a consent from the patient. So if somebody is going against this, then the person is supposed to be fined, or he can land up in jail also. So that is why it is considered to be a very, very sensitive factor in US. The people who are working in a healthcare sector, whomever it is, BAs or developers or doctors, nurses, or any other kind of practitioners, or who is doing that, the practices outside the hospital, everybody are bound to obey this HIPAA compliance. They should not, even in the family also, if I am working in the healthcare BA, I am not at all supposed to disclose any of the patient's details to my husband or to my children. So that much respect we have to show to this HIPAA Act, which is so crucial in US. So that is the gist of this HIPAA compliance overview. Now, there are certain compliance checklists which a person have to follow in healthcare industry. So it is the security safeguards, then privacy and access control, administrative safeguards, technical safeguards, breach notification readiness, and physical safeguards. I will just quickly walk you through all these compliance. So security safeguards, you would have listened to what Raj has said in the previous slide in the non-functional requirements. So there is a factor called role-based access. So here, if you remember in the swim lane diagrams, we have mentioned towards the left that there are 4 or 5 actors. So only those authorized personnel are supposed to log into the hospital management system and then access the details. Only permissible people will view a particular patient's detail. It is not like I can simply hand over my responsibility to another nurse. Okay, you please take over in my absence. I can't do that. If I am dealing with a person, I am supposed to take care of the maintaining the secrecy of that patient's details. So that much importance is given to this security safeguards. If there is any unauthorized attempts happening, then it should be logged and it should be alerted. So I'm just randomly picking certain points here. Then goes to the privacy and access controls. So even a patient, if he wants to view his details, it should be in an encrypted manner. It should not be a directly received document. The details are to be encrypted. So all those privacy and accessibility controls are also to be implemented in this. Then comes the administrative safeguards, which obviously deals with the admin part of the the hospitals. So if the hospital is having proper standard operating procedures, if some kind of breaches is happening from the administrative side, if there is a documented plan to execute, if some kind of breach is happening, if it is there, all those points are covered in the administrative safeguards. Then comes the technical safeguard. So technical safeguard is obviously with the functional requirements which we covered previously. So the user credentials, as a doctor logs into the user credential, his credentials have to be encrypted and it should be stored and managed. Just an example I am quoting here. And then there are the file uploads happening. So a patient may have come there for some random test, blood test, something, so proper files may not be uploaded. But if the patient is in an in-hospital visit, then the x-rays, any other kind of critical documents have to be uploaded. Then all those have to be protected from any virus threat. So those concepts, those points are also to be considered as part of this technical safeguards. Now there is a breach notification readiness, which is very important in HIPAA compliance. Not at all, the system should not at all be ready to be easily hacked. If any kind of hack is happening to that system, then immediately there should be a process which should be alerted that some kind of breach is happening in the hospital or in those particular details. It should be quickly addressed. So some locking system or something should be present there to protect the data. It is critical that no single data is being accessed by anyone. So keeping all those aspects in view, this checklist has been designed. And then comes the physical safeguard. Physical safeguard, it relates with the devices. So we can view it in our personal laptop, we can view it over mobile, we can view it in our on our tablets. So all these are the devices considered when we speak about the physical safeguards. If I am working in a hospital, it is my responsibility that as I move out of my chair, my workplace, my workstation, it is my responsibility that I immediately lock my system and move away from my place so that no other person is accessing my records without my knowledge. So that much physical safeguards pointers have also to be considered while designing a healthcare system. And there comes a mobile device management solution. It is like, locking or giving, it is like how we grant access to children, the parental controls. Similar kind of solutions or software have also to be installed in this systems, like the mobile or tablet devices we are using. So that is a quick overview of the HIPAA Act as well as the HIPAA compliance checklist. So with this, we come to the end of our presentation. So any questions and questions you have, we are happy to answer.
Yes, if you have any questions, you can ask Raj and Shri. Anything regarding their presentation. A couple of things that I would like to tell everybody, whenever we are going through a business case study like this, it's important for us as analysts to analyze the different business scenarios involved in it. Even if someone else is giving the presentation, I want you to visualize the different scenarios that might be involved. And maybe the people who are giving the presentation, they have not included those scenarios. Now, this is the healthcare domain. Even if many of you will agree with the fact, even if you do not have any exposure to healthcare, if you don't come from a healthcare domain, but if you have attended to a family member in the hospital, you understand the general process that's followed by a hospital. Okay. So, of course, knowledge of HIPAA and everything, you need to go and read about HIPAA, then only you'll come to know. But the general interactions that we have with the doctors, with the nurses, the general process that's followed in most of the hospitals is known to everyone. Okay, so when a business case study is presented from a domain which you're familiar with, then it's important for you to think about the scenarios, like a couple of scenarios that I bought about that, I've seen hospitals always tag a patient to a specific nurse. Okay. So how is your system going to deal with it? Now, these are some questions that you, when your requirement gathering session happens with the SME, you need to ask the SME, does your hospital also tag a particular patient to a specific nurse, or do you follow a different process? You need to ask them, because accordingly, your system has to accommodate that, and there might be multiple scenarios where the nurse who's attending to that particular patient, she might be off duty. Her duty hours might be over and he's getting discharged when she's not in duty. Then what is that? What will your system do in that case? Or maybe she had to go for an emergency leave, and that's when the patient is getting discharged. Then what is the backup? These are scenarios that we have to think about, right? These are things which will actually happen in the hospital. Also, I brought in the scenario where what if two doctors are involved in the treatment of this particular patient? Without the main doctor, without consulting the other doctor, cannot give a approval from his side. So does the system have any provision to, where approval of more than one doctors can be facilitated? Okay, all of this, some of the scenarios that I thought on the spot. Also, Raj, Shri, couple of scenarios you can think about how AI can facilitate easier discharge or faster discharge of patients. You can think about that later, if we can bring any AI flavor to it. So we'll discuss tomorrow in the class if any solution for AI can be rolled out, because right now AI is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So if we can bring a flavor of AI and help a faster discharge or a smoother discharge, then we can recommend that, right? We can always recommend that. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Raj, Shri. That was a wonderful presentation. You guys did an awesome job. Awesome job. Very good analysis work. Everything that you learned in the Diamond certification, you have managed to put it over here in this presentation. So I'm really happy about that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your help and guidance too.
You can stop sharing. Sharing, Shri. So that's with today's session, guys. We first started off today's session with Anirudh giving us a good insight about how he got his dream job and how he was able to facilitate a smooth transition into a business analyst role. And then we moved to Raj and Shrikala's presentation about the patient discharge module, which they have done a wonderful job in. So that brings us to the closure of today's session. We will not be doing an activity today. We usually have facilitate some activity in Friday classes, but we have already overshot our time. So we will wrap up the session here. All the people from all our YouTube subscribers who are watching us in the live stream, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this session was beneficial to each one of you. Next session, we will bring up a new domain, a new set of analysis, and we'll have a new set of people presenting that case study. So